Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Prom is upon us. Prom is around the corner, and I decided that I wanted to share something that maybe I would want to watch if I was going to prom again. So I am going to be showing you guys how to do a very simple, easy makeup look that is somewhat affordable. This look, I believe, suits anyone. I did use very simple amount of shadows. I know it looks like I used a good bit, but I do think that this look would suit anybody. Feel free to switch this up, color-wise, product-wise, whatever. I just wanted to set the boundaries for you. I am going to be going into a little bit more detail about the things that I use and maybe some other little things that I can't think of right now. Before I get started, I would like to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you want to be part of my G gang. Hit the bell for notifications for whenever I upload a new video. You will get a little alert. And let's get started. For your prom, I would start off by doing your brows, and the first thing that I think you should do is get a brow gel. This is just Rimmel Brow This Way brow styling gel. It's very affordable. It does the job. And I'm just going to basically mold my brow hairs to lay the way that I want them to. So basically, I'm going to just feather the front ones upwards, and then the rest of it, I kind of want my brows to do an arch because they're a little bit easier to fill in. So I just like to brush them up. And that just helps for them to hold their shape so that you can fill them in. For brows, for this particular look, you know I'm totally a believer that your brows should go with the way that you wear your makeup, and because this is soft, we want to have a soft brow. So I'm going in with an angled brush. Through this tutorial, you're going to realize how important it is to have really good tools. If there's nothing else out there that you should learn from all of my videos, it's that you should have really good brushes to use. Help manipulate how much product you put on and application, and that is the most important thing that you could learn for makeup, is to have a good set of brushes. So I'm going to take this Anastasia angled brush, fill them in. I'm going in with the City Color Bold Brow Medium eyeshadow, and it looks like this. You have a light and a dark, and basically the reason why that is because you can definitely use the lighter if your eyebrows are lighter through the whole brow, but usually meant for the lighter color to go in the front, and you feather it in the front because you don't want that harsh brown color in the front, and then you fade it into the darker brown color that's in this palette. If you do not have a brow shadow palette, you can easily use a cool toned brown eyeshadow to fill in your brows. Also works the same. I like to turn the brush, and I'm literally only getting a little bit of product. You want to use little product as possible at first because you can always add more, but it's harder to take it away. So just dip it in there just a little bit, and then you are good to go, and just build it up from there. And you just want to fill in the sparse areas. So usually I work on the bottom front of my brow and kind of map out the arch of my brow since it's kind of missing. Let me just say. Okay, and then as you fill them in, don't be afraid to use your spoolie. You don't have to have an actual spoolie. If you have a mascara wand or something, it's pretty much the same thing. Don't put mascara on your brows though. I mean, unless your brows are black. All right. So now that my soft brows have been placed, I'm going to take my flat concealer brush and some concealer. Any concealer will work, but for this specific one today for myself, I am going to be using my handy dandy notebook. Nope, just kidding. Full coverage concealer pot. This consistency is a little bit thicker, which is why I do like for it to draw up under my eyebrows. I find that if I use a regular concealer, which is why I don't like using them that much, it does tend to be runnier and waterier. God, is that even a word? And placing that under my brow, it just goes everywhere. So I find that if it's a thicker consistency, I have a little bit more control over that product up under my brows, since it is just such a fine line and I'm trying to carve them out. And then I'll take my finger and just, you know, do all that jazz. Okay, and I'm going to basically just even out the tone of skin on my eyelid. And I know that sounds crazy, but it makes for your shadows to go on a little bit more evenly with the pigment. The color is all even, so you're starting with a blank canvas, if you will. And usually after I carve out my brows, I know this sounds crazy, I'll go back in and just kind of fill in any spots that I missed. I know sometimes the shadow or the crease, I can't talk, the concealer kind of maps out the shape a little bit more so you can see it a little bit better, and then I just end up seeing some spots that I missed. So I'll just go back in and clean those up. Now, next, I'm going to set my eyelids with a bone-colored shadow, and or you can use just any kind of loose powder, something to set the concealer so that your shadows go on. Make sure that you get all of the creases out before you set this with powder. Otherwise, you will be setting your creases. So just make sure that you kind of raise your brows, and look down, look down, and then set your lids with some powder before you look back up again. Excited to show y'all what I have for my eyes, but first, I'm going to just go ahead and do a little bit of a transition color. You don't have to do a transition color. If you want to keep this part really simple, you can totally just do a straight on shimmer or any kind of color that you want. So first I am going to take a very important brush to have in your brush kit, and that would be just a normal tapered blending brush. Morphe has really good brushes. They are my favorite brushes of all time. They're super inexpensive. The hairs are good. It has, it's just very durable, I find them to be. So I'm going to take a Morphe M433 brush, and I'm going to just take any kind of any transition shade that you want, but I'm going to take this really dirty Huda Beauty palette that I have, that y'all have probably seen me use on my channel, and I'm going to, without dropping it, take this Shy color and place this in my transition. Alright, I'm just going to take this Morphe M411, which is just a little bit smaller, and I'm going to take the color Suede, which is just kind of like this taupey gray color, and place that in my crease as well. Alright, and then I'm going to take a clean shadow brush. This is a Luxie 207, and I'm just going to make sure that all of that is blended really well. it's clean, so it's gonna make sure that I have no harsh lines. All right, and then I'm going to warm up this just a little bit. So I'm going to take this color Cocoa, which is just a deep brown. It's like a chocolatey brown color. Okay. And the reason why we're doing our shadow first is because, and don't worry, if you just go in circular motion, so I'm going to show you, if you take this and you just kind of go around in the crease and just stay in the windshield wiper motion area, and that's basically all you're going to have to do, and that just helps to deepen up your crease and makes your eyes look a little bit bigger with a little bit more dimension. And basically, if you get too much shadow and say, oh gosh, there's a lot of stuff all over my eyes, you're just gonna clean it up with a makeup wipe. That's why you do your shadow before you do your face. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do my lid color and introduce to you guys my new favorite thing ever. I don't know if y'all know this, but ColourPop is being sold at Ulta, and I got the most beautiful Super Shock shadow. This is the color Sailor. It's their Super Shock Shadow Ultra Glitter, and it is gorgeous. I love it. This was $5, and you probably cannot see in the camera, but it is pink with a little bit of purple and blue glitter reflex in it, and it's very soft colored, so I thought, man, this would be really pretty for prom. If I was going to prom again, I would use this color. And then I'm going to take my same brush that I used for the crease and just make sure that these colors are blending right in this area so that they don't just start and stop. You want it to kind of gradiate. Here, wow. I take this NYX illuminator in the shade Ritualistic, and I'm going to highlight my brow bone with this. All right, that just kind of helps your brows look a little bit lifted. All right, I am going to do a little bit of liner. The liner so that my lashes will blend in with my eyelid. I lied. I'm gonna do a little bit of a little baby wing. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes and put a coat of mascara on them. Totally do this look without falsies. I just like the way false lashes look. I feel like it kind of ties the whole look together and makes you look a little bit more glamorous, and it's prom. Why not? They make all kinds of lashes. You can choose whatever style you want. The thicker they are, the heavier they're going to feel on your eyes, so just do whatever suits you and you think you'll be comfortable with wearing for the whole night. So I am going to go in with these 160 Ardell lashes. I got these at Ulta. I think they're around $3 to $5. And you can definitely cut these in half and just put them on the outer portion of your eye if you feel more comfortable with the softer lash, something that's not going to maybe bother your eyes, especially if you're not used to wearing them. But I'm going to show you how I apply these and pull them out of the package first. And I just make a thin strip of glue on there, and just a thin one. Make sure that you get this part of the lash. Make sure that you get this part of the lash and this part of the lash really well, because that's what's going to hold your lash onto your lash line all night long. So make sure that there's a good bit on there. It does dry down clear, so you're good. The key to putting lashes on is to wait for this lash glue to dry for almost like 2 minutes, it seems like. The more you let it dry, the tackier it gets and the easier it is to place on your eyes so that it sticks. If the glue is not dry all the way, it's going to slide all over your eyeball. Drying, I'm going to go ahead and prep my face for foundation. I'm going to first use the NYX Liquid Illuminator in this shade Sunbeam. This is just going to give you a really nice glow through your foundation for every night, for the night. And this just kind of acts as like a primer too. And I basically just use my fingers to put them on there. So many people use fancy stuff, and I just rather use my finger. I think it's whatever you're more comfortable with. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do the foundation now while this dries down. I'm gonna use my Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation and Concealer in the shade Creamy Vanilla, and I'm just going to place this on my little petri dish for me to use. And this is a Morphe sponge. I'm going to apply my foundation with this. Some tips on skin and how to make it look your best is color correcting. If you've ever seen those color concealers that are green and orange, and I think there's a purple one. The green one is really good, and I like to use it on my clients for when they have a lot of red pimples. So like this, or any kind of redness around their nose, I will use the green before I go in with my foundation and just kind of use my finger to push it into the skin and let it set so that it dries, because if you don't let it dry, it tends to move, and you want it to kind of sit over that pimple and let it dry down a little bit. And then just go over with another sponge. This is my damp Morphe sponge, and just go over it very lightly, and then you can spot conceal over that. Alright. Then for concealer, I'm going to use this Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define in the shade C5. This is my first time using this concealer, and I don't know if I like it yet. Yeah, I think it's actually pretty good. It was only $8 at Ulta, which for a full coverage concealer really isn't that bad. I'm still so used to my Tarte Shape Tape, so we'll see how this does and wears. Alright, and then I'm going to set up under my eyes using my airspun powder. I've been like really into setting my face lately. Yeah. And the brush that I'm going to use is this crown brush. It's a little bit tapered, so it's a little bit pointy on the end. I don't know if y'all can see that. NYX makes a really good contour palette, so if you don't have this Hoola, you could just use any kind of contour shade to bronze up and warm up your skin, just as long as you have a really good brush. Good to go. This is it. A Morphe M507, and I'm going to contour my nose. The reason why I like this brush is because it is pointy on the end, so that way I can get a more, I guess, more defined contour. I put a little bit on the end of my nose right here, and then I'm going to put a little right here across. And of course, I did probably a little too much, so I'm going to take a little bit more of this Fit Me powder and just kind of go over it a little bit so that it's not so harsh. It kind of helps to blend out the lines a little bit. A new Milani Baked Blush. This is in the shade Rosé d'Oro. Everybody loves Luminoso, but I thought it was a little bit too I guess like peachy orangey color for me, so I decided that I would change it up, and I am using this color, rose gold color. Hi, baby, you talking? I hear a lot of good things about these blushes. Wow, that's really pigmented and I barely touched it. Hi, baby. I like to go right up on the forehead with blush, just because it makes it look like I've been a little bit more sun-kissed. So I wasn't recording, but for the lips, I am doing NYX lip liner in the shade Natural, and I basically just like a really sharpened lip liner pencil. I don't like the retractables because they don't get as fine of a point that I like compared to these, but I have control over this with making sure that it is very sharp and sharpened. And I just basically am going to use this to line my lips. I am going to use today NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Creme Brûlée. And I'm actually going to fill in my lips just a little bit more with this pencil first. Alright, you guys, this concludes the final makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye!